for me, it was all about singing and
Right.
just reaching the people. And the people decided for me that I belong here.
Ever been told you're not pretty enough? Not good enough? Imagine writing the song that made you famous, only to watch someone else perform it while the world smiles and calls it a tribute. Yet you're standing there pretending it's all fine, while deep down it feels like a public slap in the face. Born on March 28, 1972, Ledisi Anibadi Young has spent over 20 years showing everyone that real talent doesn't need anyone's approval to shine. Her voice, her power, her presence, it all screams authenticity. But before we talk about her Grammy wins or that unforgettable Super Bowl moment in 2005 that had conservatives completely losing their minds, there are two wild secrets that shaped her journey. This unstoppable vocalist once hit rock bottom, sleeping on a friend's floor in New York with just $68 in her bank account. She was ready to walk away from music forever after being told she wasn't pretty enough for the industry. Can you believe that? And then came the moment that shook fans everywhere, when Beyonce performed Ledisi's song at the 2015 Grammys. The very same song Ledisi had already sung powerfully as Mahalia Jackson in Selma. The world watched in shock, but the grace Ledisi showed that night spoke louder than any Grammy ever could. Her silence said everything: pure strength, pure class. Born March 28, 1972, in New Orleans, Louisiana, Ledisi Anibadi Young didn't just grow up around music, she breathed it. In her world, music wasn't a luxury, it was survival. Her mother, a fierce performer who ran her own band in New Orleans, knew the grind better than anyone. When she packed up the family and moved them to Oakland, California, chasing new chances, she carried that deep, soulful New Orleans rhythm right with her.
When I started, people didn't like my look. They didn't know what to do with me. You don't work or fit into this business.
But Oakland wasn't kind to the new girl with the thick New Orleans accent. The energy was rough, and the kids didn't just tease her, they targeted her. After-school fights became her normal, all because she was different. Yet that same fire they tried to break would one day make her unstoppable. But then something shifted. Big time. The moment Ledisi opened her mouth to sing, everything changed. The same kids who used to mess with her suddenly froze, realizing they were standing in front of real power. Her voice wasn't just beautiful, it was unstoppable. That raw sound became her superpower, her armor, turning all that hate and hostility into straight-up respect. Yet behind the music, life at home was complicated. Her mom was a rock, strong, loving, always reminding Ledisi, "You're beautiful just the way you are." But her stepfather battled alcoholism, and with that came chaos, tension, and too many nights filled with uncertainty. The walls at home didn't always feel safe, but her mother's strength never stopped shining. That's when music became Ledisi's escape, her safe zone, her way to take back control when everything else felt like it was falling apart. Her mother wasn't just her biggest supporter, she was her first business coach. She schooled Ledisi early on about copyright forms, protecting her music, and never letting anyone take advantage of her work. While most artists get lost in the spotlight and forget the paperwork, Ledisi's mom made sure she understood the business behind the art. Working as a legal secretary, her mom knew contracts inside out, and she drilled one rule into Ledisi's head: never sign anything you don't understand. That lesson would save her more times than she could count. By 18, Ledisi made a tough choice. She had to leave home. Not because she wanted to, but because she couldn't stay trapped in the tension of her mom's difficult marriage. Life in San Leandro wasn't easy, but she was determined. She waited tables at Sizzler, worked retail at Bayfair Mall, and hustled just to keep going. Between shifts, college, and late-night performances, she was taking notes from the Bay's independent legends, Master P, Too Short, and E40. She studied how they built their empires from the trunk of their cars, selling CDs hand to hand, and proving that you don't need a major label to make major moves. Ledisi wasn't waiting for anyone to hand her a chance. She made her own lane. She formed a group called Anybody, using her middle name, and started performing anywhere people would listen.
I don't have a clue, but I will say what I'm excited about is that I had the pleasure of playing an iconic figure in Selma.
Flea markets, street corners, strip malls. If there was a crowd, Ledisi was there with a mic in her hand and CDs in her bag. She was out there, grinding hard, building her audience one person at a time. Then in 2000, she dropped her debut album Soul Singer under her own label, Lisan Records, and it was fire. The album sold over 50,000 copies independently. That's huge without a label. The success caught the attention of major industry execs, but the offers came with strings. They told her she wasn't pretty enough, not commercial enough, didn't fit the image of what an R&B star should look like. Imagine hearing that after pouring your soul into your music. But in her head, she could still hear her mom's voice saying, "You're beautiful just as you are." Still, the industry's harsh words were louder, heavier, and they started to sink in. Every morning, she looked in the mirror and forced herself to say, "I am beautiful," not because she believed it, but because she had to fight back against everything the world told her. By her late 20s, Ledisi was drained, physically, mentally, and financially. 2 independent albums sold well for an indie artist, but the grind left her broke and questioning if all the struggle was even worth it. Ledisi hit rock bottom, just $68 left in her bank account and nothing but disappointment weighing her down. Success felt miles away, and she couldn't figure out why all her hard work wasn't paying off. The wrong people had drained her, and bad business deals had nearly wiped her out. Everything she'd built felt like it was slipping through her fingers. So she made a bold move, a complete reset. She packed 2 suitcases, left her life behind, and headed to New York City. She told herself she was done with music and decided to hide out in the Broadway world, where she could still perform without facing that constant rejection that had crushed her spirit.
No, the only way I got friends was when I started singing. So when I sang, it changed everything. I said, all I have to do is sing and they'll stop picking on me.
Her friend Richard offered her a place to crash, just a small spot on his floor. But that floor became sacred ground. Night after night, lying there feeling like a failure despite selling over 160,000 independent units, she had no choice but to look up. And in that low moment, something divine happened. Everything and everyone not meant for her future started to fade away. Broadway embraced her with open arms. She became an understudy in Caroline or Change, worked on the Color Purple workshops, and kept her voice strong even as her music dreams dimmed. But just when she thought that chapter was closed, boom, Chaka Khan herself called, asking her to open for a week of shows. But while she was still in New York, still sleeping on Richard's floor, something happened that literally saved Ledisi's life. She was in a dark place, broke, tired, and battling a deep depression that made her believe that day would be her last. She was ready to give up completely, not just on music, but on life itself. Then, out of nowhere, a song floated through the radio, Nina Simone's "Trouble in Mind." The lyrics hit her like a light breaking through the storm. Trouble in mind, I'm blue, but I won't be blue always. 'Cause the sun's gonna shine in my back door someday. That voice, that raw pain, that honesty, it pierced straight through her soul. Something in Nina's cry told Ledisi she wasn't alone. Someone else had been broken. Someone else had hurt this deeply and still made it through. In that exact moment, something inside her shifted. She realized she could survive too. That tiny spark planted a powerful seed. Years later, when she finally got back on her feet, Ledisi poured every last dollar she had into a Nina Simone tribute album, even when everyone told her not to. People said, "You're an R&B singer, not a jazz artist." But jazz was in her blood. It was her first language. So she released Ledisi Sings Nina anyway. And that bold move took her across the world, proving her voice could not be boxed in by anyone. In 2007, everything started to turn around for Ledisi. She signed with Verve Records and dropped her major label debut, Lost and Found. The songs on that album, especially All Right, written during one of the hardest chapters of her life, became anthems of strength and survival. With her mom's constant encouragement in her ear, Ledisi poured every ounce of pain and hope into that music, and the world finally started listening. The success of Lost and Found led to her next powerhouse project, Turn Me Loose, in 2009, bold, fearless, and full of soul.
My mom, she taught me early about copyright forms and not to sign anything without her looking at it. She was a legal secretary who was pretty much an artist.
Then came Pieces of Me in 2011, the album that finally earned Ledisi her first ever Grammy nomination. The title track wasn't just a song, it was a healing prayer for anyone trying to rebuild after loss, heartbreak, or burnout. It spoke straight to the people holding everything together while falling apart inside. By 2013, Ledisi had leveled up completely. She wasn't just a respected artist, she was a national treasure. The Obamas personally invited her to the White House again and again, asking her to perform at tree lighting ceremonies and major events. Ledisi's voice had officially become a symbol of grace, power, and pride. Ledisi's rise kept soaring. She was performing at Juneteenth celebrations and even at Michelle Obama's 50th birthday bash. Being the First Lady's favorite singer was no small thing. Michelle Obama, a Black woman who had faced her own share of people saying she wasn't enough, saw something special in Ledisi, something powerful and worthy of being celebrated out loud. That kind of validation hit deeper than any Grammy ever could. Then came 2014, the year that could have changed everything. Director Ava DuVernay dropped Selma, a groundbreaking film about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s historic voting rights campaign. Ledisi was handpicked to play Mahalia Jackson, the gospel icon whose voice became the heartbeat of the civil rights movement. In Selma, Ledisi performed Take My Hand, Precious Lord, and her version was absolutely soul-stirring. It was raw, emotional, and filled with the same spirit Mahalia once carried. The performance gave the film an extra layer of heart and strength, helping Selma earn massive critical praise and multiple Oscar nominations. Everything seemed perfectly aligned. It looked like Ledisi would finally perform that same song on the Grammy stage in 2015, but when the moment came, she wasn't called. Instead, Beyonce, who hadn't been in Selma and had no connection to the project, was chosen to perform her song. The industry's decision left fans stunned and furious, while Ledisi, full of grace, stayed silent. But the world noticed. When Take My Hand, Precious Lord was performed at the Grammys, everything exploded. The decision to let Beyonce sing it instead of Ledisi set off instant controversy. Fans were furious, calling it a blatant snub, a move driven by money, power, and image over true artistry. People couldn't believe it. How could the woman who actually portrayed Mahalia Jackson and sang the song in the film be passed over like that?
But you remember what I'm telling you. You're beautiful. She would say that to all her kids. It's great, like, having that reinforcement, even though all this chaos would go on in our home.
It felt like the industry had once again chosen fame over authenticity. Social media caught fire. The internet blew up, and Black Twitter turned into a full-on debate zone. Was it pure disrespect, or just business as usual in an industry that keeps picking star power over soul? The tension was real, and everyone was waiting to see what Ledisi would say. But when she finally spoke, she didn't throw shade, she didn't play the victim, and she didn't complain. Instead, she showed unbelievable grace. Ledisi said she was honored to be part of Selma's legacy, that her version of the song would forever live in history, and she was genuinely grateful that Beyonce was able to bring the song to a new generation. That's real class. Her calm response spoke volumes. In that moment, the world saw exactly who Ledisi was: confident, grounded, and unshakable. Her worth wasn't tied to who performed what song or stood on which stage. Her worth was already proven, built from resilience, talent, and heart. And just like that, she kept it moving, still working, still winning, still shining. Ledisi wasn't waiting for anyone's approval anymore. She was calling her own shots. She dropped Let Love Rule in 2017, launched her own record label under BMG Distribution, and took full creative control of her career. No more begging the industry for validation. She became her own boss. She didn't stop there. Ledisi started writing too, dropping powerful books like Better Than All Right, Finding Peace, Love, and Power, in collaboration with Essence Magazine, and Don't Ever Lose Your Walk, where she opened up about her personal growth and strength. She even published them through her own company, Chinwe Publishing. Every move she made screamed independence and empowerment. Then came love. On July 7, 2018, Ledisi married Ronald T. Young, her creative partner, co-producer, and best friend. Together, they built a powerhouse team, creating projects that blended music, storytelling, and vision. Ronald co-produced her PBS special Ledisi Sings Nina, keeping the spirit of Nina Simone alive through modern artistry. The two also launched Fig Street Films, their very own production company, proving that Ledisi wasn't just a singer, she was an empire. In 2019, she made a big return to theater with Witness Uganda, earning multiple LA Alliance Ovation Award nominations. Then she and Ronald co-wrote and co-produced her one-woman show, The Legend of Little Girl Blue, which premiered at the Wallace Theater in Beverly Hills, and every show was sold out. Ledisi was unstoppable, shining on stage, on screen, and in her truth. She even hit TV, portraying Patti LaBelle in American Soul and appearing on the hit series Pose.
I don't have a clue, but I will say what I'm excited about is that I had the pleasure of playing an iconic figure in Selma, and the song Take My Hand, Precious Lord, it's been going on forever. Started with the Queen, Mahalia, the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin.
Every step she took proved that her voice and vision couldn't be contained. She was building her legacy her own way. Ledisi kept expanding her empire, and her film work hit new heights. She landed powerful roles, including playing the legendary Gladys Knight in Spinning Gold. Her presence on screen was just as magnetic as her voice, elegant, soulful, and full of fire. Then came 2024, a major milestone. Ledisi dropped her 11th studio album, The Good Life, a celebration of joy, growth, and resilience. Every track on that album hit deep, especially singles like Love You Too and Sell Me No Dreams. It was real R&B, grown, emotional, and honest, the kind of music that speaks to people figuring out love, heartbreak, and everything in between. But nothing could have prepared her for what came next. In February 2025, she got the call, the one every artist dreams about. They wanted Ledisi to perform Lift Every Voice and Sing at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, her very own hometown. Ledisi was thrilled but terrified. Over 80,000 people in the stadium, 135 million watching live around the world, the pressure was unreal. She teamed up with the legendary Adam Blackstone to create a breathtaking arrangement, added a full choir for power, and just days before the show, she got the surprise of her life. Children from New Orleans would be joining her on stage. It was about to be the most emotional moment of her entire career. Game day finally arrived, and Ledisi owned that field like it was built for her. As the lights hit and the crowd roared, she stepped up to the mic and let her voice soar across the stadium, powerful, raw, and crystal clear. Every note carried decades of soul and strength. And when she hit her signature shout, it was no accident. It was her way of saying, "This is live. This is real. This is me. The performance was absolutely breathtaking. Across the country, Black audiences celebrated it as a moving tribute, a proud, spiritual moment that honored their history and resilience. But of course, not everyone felt the same. Conservative commentators wasted no time attacking it, calling the performance divisive and claiming America had only one national anthem. They ranted about DEI, woke culture, and everything else they could twist it into. Ledisi had been warned that this backlash would come. Her team knew the hate would roll in right alongside the love, but she didn't let it shake her. She kept her focus locked on what truly mattered, making it a moment.
We got a call that they want you to sing at the Super Bowl. And I was like, stop lying, you lying.
A performance that wasn't just about her voice, but about the people, the struggle, and the spirit that still refuses to break. The controversy didn't weaken her shine. It amplified it. It proved exactly why Lift Every Voice and Sing needed to be heard. That song isn't about division. It's about survival, strength, and generations who kept singing even through segregation and oppression. Ledisi embodied that message completely. And right after the Super Bowl, she took that same energy on the road, launching the Love You 2 tour with Marsha Ambrosius, lighting up 27 cities across the country with music, love, and unstoppable power. The Love You 2 tour stripped everything down to the core. No heavy production, no flashy effects, just Ledisi's voice front and center. It was pure, powerful, and honest. The kind of performance that reminded people what real music sounds like. Every note proved she didn't need auto-tune or studio polish. Her talent stood on its own, raw and undeniable. By 2025, Ledisi's success spoke for itself. Her net worth was estimated at $6 million, built from pure hustle and heart. She had racked up 13 Grammy nominations, winning once, plus 9 NAACP Image Award nominations, 3 Soul Train Music Awards, and countless theater honors. But beyond the trophies, she'd earned something far greater, the respect of icons like Prince, Patti LaBelle, Chaka Khan, and Smokey Robinson. When legends salute you, you know you've made your mark. Even with all that success, Ledisi kept giving back. She teaches at Berklee College of Music, serves as the president of the Recording Academy's Los Angeles chapter, and continues to build her entertainment empire piece by piece. She's also mentoring up-and-coming artists, showing them how to win without selling their soul or compromising who they are. Her songs tell her story, every single one marking a chapter of growth and survival. All Right, 2007, became an anthem for anyone fighting through hard times. Pieces of Me, 2011, spoke to people trying to rebuild their broken selves. I Blame You, 2014, showcased her jazzy side, while High, 2017, celebrated freedom and elevation. Love You 2, 2024, captured the beauty of mature love, and her haunting rendition of Take My Hand, Precious Lord in Selma, 2014, forever tied her voice to the legacy of the civil rights movement.
They want you to sing. You know, he told me who asked me to do it, and I said, wow, this is amazing.
From sleeping on a floor in New York to performing at Carnegie Hall, from having just $68 to achieving financial independence, from being told she wasn't pretty enough to standing tall on the Super Bowl field, singing to millions, from nearly giving up on life to saving others through her music, and from Beyonce performing her song to handling it all with unshakable grace, Ledisi proved that true power doesn't come from fame, it comes from faith, fire, and staying real. At 52 years old, Ledisi Anybody Young stands as living proof that the music industry doesn't get to decide who matters. The people do. The same girl they once said wasn't pretty enough stood tall in her hometown, singing Lift Every Voice and Sing to over 135 million viewers across the world. Can you imagine that full circle moment? From rejection to reverence, from silence to stadiums? She did that. While critics tried to spin their noise online, Ledisi didn't waste a breath responding. Her only answer was the same one she's been giving her entire career. She opened her mouth, let that unstoppable voice ring out, and let the truth do the talking. Every note silenced the doubt, crushed the criticism, and proved that what God made cannot be denied. It's divine, it's powerful, it's Ledisi. If you felt inspired by her journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Let's keep celebrating real artistry, real stories, and real strength, just like Ledisi's.